First of all, thank you for being with us tonight to share what is a real first for our embassy, a live theater performance in the context of our National Day celebration, known in English as Bastille Day, a remembrance of the uprising and capture of the prison called Bastille by the people of Paris on July the 14th, 1789. But why a live theater performance? Well, we wanted to change habits and also to be able to share this significant moment with all of you. And what for? To show in an entertaining way how close St. Lucia and France are since centuries, and to illustrate many highlights of our shared history which are related to the revolution and therefore to our national day. And you may wonder why in Pigeon Island with such beautiful weather. Well, on a symbolic level, this wonderful location is perfect to celebrate the French and St. Lucian intertwined history. Indeed, did you know that in 1778, before the French Revolution, but in the context of the American Revolutionary War, the French, allies of the Americans, fought the Battle of St. Lucia against the British, and the French Admiral d'Estaing anchored in Gros-Îlet, where he landed 7,000 troops. And during the French Revolution in 1792, did you know that a revolutionary tribunal was sent to St. Lucia, headed by Captain de la Crosse, bringing the ideas of the revolution to St. Lucia? La Crosse set up a guillotine used to execute rebels. And I have been told that this guillotine is still in working order somewhere, maybe not very far from here. So beware. Well, most seriously, and without unveiling what we're going to see in a few minutes, you all know that despite the fact that St. Lucia became permanently British in 1814 and then an independent state, France and St. Lucia always kept close ties and links. Without going further, Martinique, which remained part of France, is the closest neighbor of St. Lucia. Both islands are deeply connected through families on both sides of the canal, through numerous French citizens who settled, through the Creole language, which is really similar in both islands, and also through an affinity for the French language, as St. Lucia is a member of the International Organization of Francophonie. And even nowadays, the famous rap singer Kalash, you all know Kalash, was here a couple of weeks ago to celebrate the close ties that exist between both cultures. So, as we could say in Creole, and you forget my accent, Martinique, Saint-Lucie, c'est min bagay, min bagay. And today, France is strongly committed to further strengthen relations with St. Lucia and to deepen bilateral cooperation. Martinique is now an OECS associated member, and St. Martin and Guadeloupe are in the adhesion process. So from 1 year from now, these three West Indies regions of France will be working together with their English-speaking neighbors within the OECS. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, today is not a day for long speeches, but I only wish to say that France and St. Lucia are currently working together to deepen their cooperation in many areas: regional security, healthcare, tourism, trade and investment, and above all, climate change and education. The whole humanity has never had to face such a challenge as climate change, because it is the survival of our planet and of its inhabitants which is at stake. And I must thank St. Lucia for its involvement in this highly important matter. And St. Lucia can be sure that France will continue to fight against the effects of global warming and will work tirelessly to promote sustainable and responsible growth. And obviously, education is another great challenge, because in a competitive world, young generations need good quality higher education, the mastering of international languages, and international experience. With the assistance of Alliance Française, we are developing a program to offer more opportunities to St. Lucian students to access French higher education. And that will mean first-rate quality studies at nearly no cost, due to the fact that the government bears the cost of public universities. And now, as it is tradition, allow me just a few minutes to say a few words in French to my fellow citizens. Chers compatriotes, c'est pour moi un immense plaisir de pouvoir aujourd'hui, avec vous, célébrer ce 14 juillet dans ce magnifique lieu, Pigeon Island, chargé d'histoire. J'espère que vous apprécierez cette innovation apportée à la célébration de notre fête nationale, et je remercie tous ceux qui ont contribué d'une façon ou d'une autre à la rendre possible. La France a traversé et traverse des moments difficiles, et comment ne pas rendre hommage aujourd'hui aux victimes du 14 juillet 2016 à Nice et à toutes les victimes des attentats perpétrés en France. La sécurité et la lutte contre le terrorisme sont devenues des priorités incontournables et de tous les instants. Face à ce terrorisme, la France prend des mesures à la hauteur de la menace à laquelle nous sommes confrontés, et nous devons tous, bien sûr, faire preuve de la plus grande solidarité. Mais l'avenir est porteur d'espoir. J'en veux pour preuve l'élection récente d'un nouveau président et d'un nouveau gouvernement avec un mandat clair, celui de réformer la France pour en augmenter le dynamisme, la compétitivité et aussi améliorer encore la qualité de vie des Français. Enfin, soyez assurés, mes chers compatriotes, que votre ambassade est à votre écoute et nous demeurons attentifs à toutes vos suggestions pour améliorer le service rendu aux Français. Et permettez-moi, à cet égard, de remercier et de saluer ici le travail accompli par les agents de l'ambassade et de l'Alliance française. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, mes chers compatriotes, once more, thank you so much for being with us tonight to celebrate the Franco-St. Lucia friendship. Long life to St. Lucie, long life to France. Thank you.
On my own behalf and on behalf of the government and people of St. Lucia, I extend sincerest congratulations to the government and people of the Republic of France, and in a very special way to the French community here in St. Lucia, on the happy occasion of their National Day, Bastille Day, as it is more commonly known here. It was 220th years ago today that marked what perhaps can be very aptly described as the birth of French democratic rule. I had often wondered why that day, which was marked by violence and bloodshed, had been chosen as France's National Day. I understood it all when I read the words of Monsieur Henri Martin, the chairman of the Senate in 1880, when he said, "Do not forget that behind the 14th of July of 1789, where victory of the new era over the Ancien Regime was bought by fighting, there was the day of 14th July 1790. This day cannot be blamed for having shed a drop of blood, for having divided the country, because it was the consecration of the unity of France." So it was this 14th July 1790, and that is, of course, for the benefit of the non-French nationals, because I'm sure they know their history more than I would. But I thought I would share this with my St. Lucian compatriots. It was the 14th of July, 1790, 1 year later, after the storming of the Bastille, which was celebrated for the next 90 years as La Fête de la Fédération, the celebration of national unity, which gave way to this national day, this 14 juillet, this Fête nationale, which we celebrate today with our friends. It represents for the people of France the spirit of unity and togetherness, which we should all stand for, and for which we should be willing to die if necessary. This is why today we celebrate with France that patriotism which has inspired its motto, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, liberty, equality, brotherhood / sisterhood. May the Republic continue to prosper, and may the historical, cultural, and diplomatic ties that bind our two nations together grow from strength to strength. Citoyens français assemblés ici, je vous souhaite, à mon nom personnel et au nom du gouvernement et peuple saint-lucien, les félicitations les plus sincères et joyeux anniversaire à cette heureuse occasion de votre fête nationale. Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you et je vous remercie. Vive la France, long live St. Lucia.
Dearest Saint Lucia, my name is Baptiste Bideau. I was born here in this land at the end of the 18th century. This century of enlightenment in which blood flowed in hope of the ideal of a better world. I am the corsair of the Caribbean seas who died in the name of a free people. I am what is now called a revolutionary hero. Everything I did, however, know that I did it for you. My faithful friend, Saint Helena. Today I must tell you the place you hold in my heart, mind, and convictions. Our common history has not always been simple. It is tainted with violence and war, but also with values essential to our humanity. We must not forget where we came from and why we fought for freedom. I have always thought that each of us carries within us a tremendous history, a great common history. I know that today you can comprehend that which I am yet to learn how to say, which I cannot explain with words. You have the means to discern and appreciate the origins of what will constitute the beauty, grandeur, and generosity of today's St. Lucian identity. This history is that of the struggle of slaves for liberty, dignity, for the struggle of revolutionaries and patriots, for a more egalitarian world, for the strife of the larger nations to appropriate our lands and our seas. Look, listen, taste, feel what I could see, hear, feel, smell at that time. Plunge with me into this epic story, which is the French Revolution in Saint Lucia. My beautiful homeland, it is rather significant that in 1786, in spite of the established order of the time, that you were the first island of the Caribbean to welcome a printing press. You published the newspaper that nurtured the values, quickly giving strength to ideas which resulted in the revolution. The Gazette of St. Lucia had been hawking for years the news of the French metropole, news that reached you first, before being sent to your sisters, Guadeloupe and the vampire Martinique, from whom you emancipated yourself a few years later. However, you know how temperamental the sea is. She offers us the finest treasures, as well as the most dreadful surprises. She is as generous as she can be deadly. How many live by these fish she offers? And how many have drowned in her oceans through storms? In this year, 1788, we faced a terribly destructive hurricane. It destroyed villages and plantations, snatched trees and houses. Everything we had built up to now has been utterly devastated or swept away by the sea. Dear Saint Lucia, Paris took the Bastille. They will eventually cut off the king's head. We must rally behind this movement. We must seize this moment. This is not merely an act of revolt. It is much more than that. These manifestations are that of a revolution. I call upon you, my fair one, and I call my brothers to true freedom. They will not have us alive. Over my dead body, we shall die gloriously, a free Isle of France, rather than see ourselves again as slaves. The world we want will not be built without a few cracked skulls. But whatever the outcome, things will never be the same again. We have two battles. One for an equality in the Republic, and the second battle for the freedom of slaves. We are born slaves. We have lived the martyrdom. We have become slaves to freedom. Let us be martyrs of the Republic if necessary, but let us make our lives the struggle against crime, the fight against injustice. Saint Lucia, we shall die innocent of all the crimes of which we are accused. We will pardon those guilty of the death and violence, and pray to God that the blood shed should be considered as the color of justice and righteousness. Let us lead the revolution. Let the dignity we have attained encourage us further to be more revolutionary than the revolutionaries. Listen, my beautiful one. Remember, do not forget. Men are born and remain free and equal. Social distinctions can only be based on the common good of man. Freedom consists of being able to do everything that does not harm others. No one shall be disturbed for his opinions, even religious ones, provided their manifestations do not disturb the public order established by the law. The free communication of thoughts and opinions is one of the most precious rights of the man. Every citizen can speak, write, and print freely. Property is an inviolable and sacred right. No one can be deprived of it, except when public necessity, as legally established, obviously demands it, and under the condition of a just and prior indemnity. The guarantee of the rights of man and the citizen requires a public force. This force is instituted for the benefit of all, and not for the particular utility of those to whom it is entrusted. Saint Lucia, do you hear? I believe that I am finding in these fundamental rights of man and citizen the thing of which I spoke to you. This thing that you can hear, but I did not know how to say. This is what I want to tell you. We are one of those who carry in them the deep values of this republic, for which we fought, and which is yet 4,000 miles or so away. This republic owes us the blood of our children. We carry within us liberté, égalité, fraternité. We are Saint Lucia, we are freedom. We are equality. We are fraternity. We are Sainte Lucie.
Quoi? Des phalanges mercenaires.
Nos fiers
Dieu
guerriers.
nous met enchaînés.
Enchaînés.
Tremblez, tyrans et vous perfides.
Tremblez, vos projets parricides vont enfin recevoir leur prix.
Tous tes soldats pour vous combattre. S'ils tombent nos généraux, la terre en produit de nouveau. Contre vous, tout
prêt
à se battre. Français en guerrier magnanime.
Épargnons ces tristes victimes.
Tous ces tigres qui sont déchirés de leur mère.
Amour sacré de la patrie. Conduis.
Soutiens nos braves vengeurs.
Liberté.
Liberté, chérie.
Que tes ennemis
Expirons.
voient ton triomphe et notre gloire.
Citoyennes, formez vos bataillons. Marchons,
Marchons,
qu'en
qu'en
sang
sang
impur.
impur.
À preuve, nous formez vos bataillons. Marchons,
Marchons,
qu'en
qu'en sang
sang impur.
impur.
À preuve, nous sillons.
For years we have fought to be entitled to the serenity and brotherhood we know today. Slave against soldier. For freedom. Revolutionary patriots against royalists. For equality. always knew how to be hospitable. While the world moves, transforms, and even burns, you lead the most illustrious battles and welcome the righteous, offering them as their human rights, security, housing, and food. You welcome the patriots expelled from Martinique and Guadeloupe by the royalists. You welcome them and rid yourselves of those who do not want the Republic. You have welcomed on your beaches, in your mountains, the most beautiful revolutionary souls. Flore Bois-Gaillan, leader of the Neg-Mawon people, free people of color and slaves. You welcome them for a battle that will be one of the last strokes of grace before finally winning freedom, the abolition of slavery. Saint Lucia. Your children are dead. It's time for you to wake up now. Wake up to the tomb that you have dug yourself. Open your eyes. You see, all with the same odor, everything in the same color, once caught in the flames. Look at the blood you've shed. Look at it and never forget why you did it. Know that I, Jean-Baptiste Bideau, she, Flore Gaillan, you, Saint Lucia, are all the dead. For our values all over the world are all of us that which we are. We are white, brown, black skin. We are all of the color of those who are persecuted. Today, we are witnessing the advent of a new world, that of freedom, that of free and equal men. We have snatched from history that right which we have been deprived of for centuries. We did not steal anything. In our memory must be engraved the faces of all our brothers and sisters who died for freedom. Do not cast blame. Do not take revenge. It is an opportunity to build new societies on new foundations. Let us know that we will be judged in the court of hope for having incited hope. Let us be guided on the course of hope. Let us focus on the values that have germinated within us. It is not difference that separates us, but peculiarities. Once assembled, they will create what is called humanity. The hour of general freedom has struck. My brothers and sisters, we are now all born free and equal in rights and under law. We find in the force of our courage, the power of our convictions, the beauty of our struggles, an equilibrium amidst the disequilibrium. Balance in a world of imbalance, a society of the future. The monarchy has fallen, the king is dead, long live the republic. The abolition of slavery is signed, the code noir torn, burned. Long live liberté, égalité, fraternité. Long live la France. Long live Saint Lucia.
Happy day. Oh, happy day. We are free. Liberté. Nous libérés. Nous libérés.
Bideau,
We are free.
sweet liberty.
Oh, happy day.
Nous libérer.
Oh, happy day.
Sweet liberty.
Ah, liberté.
Freedom, freedom.
Ah, liberté.
Nous libérer.
Are we now free?
We are now free.
Oh, happy day.
Nous libérer.
Oh, happy
Nous
day.
libérer.
Nous libérés.
Liberté.
À liberté.
Freedom, freedom.
Liberté, liberté.
Sweet liberty.
We are free.
La liberté.
Oh, happy
liberty.
We are free.
Sweet liberty.
Are we now free?
Libéré.
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 À liberté.
À liberté.
À liberté.
À liberté.
À liberté.
Nous libérés.
À liberté.
Nous libérés.
Oh happy day.
Oh, happy day.
Oh happy day.
Sweet liberty.
Oh happy day.
Nous libérés.
Oh happy day.
Nous libérés.
Nous libérés.
Libéré.
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 Oh, happy day. La patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. Contre nous de la tyrannie, les tendances sanglantes élevées, les tendances sanglantes élevées. Attendez-vous dans les campagnes, mugir ces féroces soldats. Ils viennent jusque dans vos bras, égorger vos fils, vos compagnes. Aux armes citoyens, formez vos bataillons, marchons, marchons, cœur sang impur, abreuve nos sillons.
Saint Lucia, that is your story. This is who we are, what we are made of. Herein is why I'm Saint Lucian. That is why you are you. This story is yours. Now that you know it, that you have seen it come alive before your eyes, guard it, care for and uphold the dignity attained from your history. Take pride in who you are. You are beautiful. You deserve to wear your skin with pride, with strength. Carry your colors loudly. Forget nothing.
I am Jessie Mayer.
I am Elwaki.
Lyric Dilema.
Hayden Felix.
Brian Norville. Kezia James. Brian Jeremy.
Nazim Smith.
Georgia Kuda.
Jason Sayers.
Caitlin Stevens. Christian Lawrence. Maïli Josephine. Kimberly Sergis.
Elijah Wicks.
Desiree Jean-Baptiste.
Rohan Gabriel.
Leanne Theophilus. Jordan Stephen.
Lohan Jomo Jean-Pierre. Dwayne Clark.
Yannick Senmath.
Kevin Senbryce.
Bernard Joseph.
James Jones.
Corey DeTurville.
Johan Favre.
Lisanne James.
Trevor Ndogi.
Nehemiah David.
Quentin Smith.
Joshua Baptiste.
Shaka Wooding. Mercedes Fanny. Celeste Baptiste.
Ashley Leon.
Crystal Scouten.
Pelina Marie.
Noel Justin.
Ilam Norville.
Tinsel Baptiste.
Martin Samuel.
Monique Auguste.
Junior Placid.
Kalina Jean.
Delroy Branford.
Anella Philip. Kelton Clary. Aquila Smith. Zena Isaac. Karina Joseph. Nicole Samuel. Shan James.
Richard Ambrose.